Hello, I'm Heather. This is the Reading Mama, and today I'm going to share some middle grade March books. If you are not aware, there is a booktube community doing middle grade March where we're reading middle grade books in the month of March. As a mama of 8 kids, I have read a lot of middle grade novels, and I still do, and I love them. And they are meant for those ages, but they are to be enjoyed by anyone. And so today I'm going to share some more middle grade marches. So they have, for this year, they have just read any middle grade book and you've completed middle grade March, but they have some extras if you want to be a little extra. There's a buddy read called Max and the House of Spies, which is a kind of magical realism, historical fiction. So you can check that out. There's also 5 prompts, and I've been trying to do some videos to give you some ideas if you need some help to reach those prompts. So I already have made the historical fiction one if you want to go check that out. Today I want to share with you sibling books. So the prompt is to have books with siblings. So I have 6 books here that I want to share with you that I have enjoyed, and that most of them I have read or listened to the audiobook version with my kids. So first up is Green Ember, and I have talked about this a lot on here because it's a favorite in our family. Green Ember is a fantasy novel, and you follow the story of Heather and Pickett, who are obviously rabbits here. And they have been growing up in a sleepy little hamlet, thinking life is grand with their mother and their father and their brother Jax, and their baby brother Jax, and till tragedy hits one day. And it is very intense very quickly. They realize that they have been kind of separated from the world of the rest of the rabbits, and that there are villains and bigger things at play than just their little family dynamics in their hamlet. And they become swept up in this grand adventure of the Mended Wood and the kingdom that has fallen, because the rabbit kingdom has fallen to the birds of prey and the wolves. And so as you go through the series, you see the part of the war and how it affects and the royal family and all of these things. But ultimately, at the heart of all of it, because you have all these side characters and things, but you have Heather and Pickett, who have been separated from their family and are desperately trying to find them, save them, and as well save their kingdom. And Heather and Pickett are just a really sweet brother and sister duo with there's a lot of animosity, a lot of trials to overcome and things like that. And then I love in the very last book when they finally, you get a little bit of what happened to the rest of their family. Next up is another fantasy novel that my kids and I have loved, and that is the Wing Feather Saga. And this is called On the Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness. It's a long title, so I had to double check there. And here you're gonna follow the Igby siblings. And the Igby siblings also have been set aside a little bit from their kingdom, from the main kingdom, because there is a war and there's a wicked ruler, a tyrant, and they were safe for a while, and they then have to escape. I don't want to give away. I'm trying to think of how much. They have to escape to safety because it's no longer safe for them there. It was always kind of a dangerous kind of place to live near the Glipwood Forest, but the things escalate and they have to escape. And throughout the series you follow the Igby children, and it's just they have a sweet relationship. You have a lot of, like, they argue, they have problems, but they ultimately love each other and will do anything for one another. And it's just, oh, it's so beautiful. And I'm thinking of the last one, I'm going to tear up because it does get more intense through the series, just so you know. Next up, I have a kind of fantasy realism. I don't know what you would call it. But this is The Incorrigible Children of Ashton Place. And the first book is called The Mysterious Howling. And I will tell you that in one of the books, possibly 2, there is one scene where they have a seance, but it's not, so if that's something you might want to pre-read. But the first book does not have any of that, and I absolutely love it. So you follow a young governess, Miss Lumley, as she goes to take care of some new charges. When she arrives at Ashton Place, she finds that the owner of Ashton Place, the Lord, he has adopted 3 children that he found in the woods who had been raised by wolves. And Miss Lumley's job is to teach them, govern them, help them grow. And it is funny, it is cute, and it is so sweet. We have absolutely loved this entire series, but book 1 is just wonderful. Lots of little things, and it has stuck with us. There's a lot of funny nuances in their education and in Miss Lumley's life that kind of coincide with the children, and then just the antics they get up to because they've been raised by wolves. And so my family, we have a lot of inside jokes about that. We've listened to the audiobook many times, and we've loved that book. Next up was Escape from Mr. Limoncello's Library. Also very fun. Wouldn't necessarily think of this as a sibling book, because in this, what is his name? Kyle. He loves games. He just absolutely loves games. And he finds out that there is Mr. Limoncello is like the king guy. You know, he is the Willy Wonka of games and toys and things like that. And so Mr. Limoncello is helping fund a new library. And part of that is going to have this game. So they have a lock-in style night where some people are locked in the library and they have to solve this game, you know? And there's a lot of hijinks going on, lots of adventure. And through it, you get Kyle's perspective, because Kyle has had some issues with games and his behavior, but he also has has this relationship with his siblings that shows through in how he interacts with the other people that are locked in the library, trying to, you know, escape room style solve the problems. And you get a couple of times where he like has a phone a friend, and he picks his brother. And I really like that. So it's not necessarily focused primarily on siblings, because it is Kyle and his friends in the library, but you see his interaction with his friends as he has the memories and he thinks about these different events, and as he interacts with his siblings as he can. And then next up, I have All of a Kind Family by Sydney Taylor. And I absolutely love this. Granted, the reason it's called All of a Kind Family is because in this first book, they have 5 daughters. And when we first picked this up at that time, I had 4 daughters. I went on to have a 5th daughter and then a 6th daughter, and still did not have a boy. We did. Number 7 is a boy and number 8 is a girl. But as you can imagine, a book about a big family of girls appealed to us. In this is a historical fiction also, by the way. It takes place in early 1900s in New York. I don't know if it gives a specific year, but this is a Jewish family living in New York in the early 1900s, and you get a lot of what life looks like there, what they go for school, going to the library, and a little bit of what life is like as an immigrant family who's have friends and family who maybe don't have the right speech, who have different traditions than a lot of people. My kids have started studying, back when we started reading this, they had studied Hebrew feasts, and so those really came alive, and they recognize them here in the book as they go through those, and then as we try to celebrate and learn about them as a family, and that was really fun. But they have just a lot of cute, funny hijinks. Also, all of these I have listened on audiobook, and they are phenomenal. But I really loved this one. We've read it, the whole series. I think we didn't read the oldest one, the last one. But it has just got sweet little things, the way that they try to help, the way that the mother helps them learn different things, like cleaning and having an attitude of respect, an attitude of obedience, an attitude of joy, serving others. It's just really sweet. You get a little sight of what it would be like to be sick. And then there is, I don't know if it's in this one or the next one. And one of them, the mama is pregnant, and there's a surprise. It might be the next book. But we really loved All of a Kind Family. Next is the book that I read for this month, which is A Wrinkle in Time. And this was my second reread, and it is even more beautiful than I thought. Here we have a fantasy sci-fi novel set in modern day America. And outer space. So in it, you're going to follow Meg and Calvin and Charles Wallace and their unique friends who take them on a journey to help save Meg and Charles Wallace's father. And they go across the universe to try to help him. Sorry, that was a little text message there. But it has a lot of adventure, but it has so many deep themes. Like, I feel like you could read this over and over and over and still miss things. Right now, I'm just reading for enjoyment. One day, I'm going to have to go back and annotate and find out all the other things. But it does follow in the siblings prompt, because Meg and Charles Wallace are brother and sister, and they have 2 other brothers who are mentioned. They're not really part of this particular story. They are later in the series. And then you have Calvin, who is not part of their family, but he also has his own sibling issues that kind of come up, hint or miss there, you know, kind of hinted at as his family is very different from Meg's family. And so you get that interaction. And then I guess what I'm trying to say is I love that in all of these books, the authors have made it so that the siblings all love each other. They deeply and desperately love each other, but they don't always get along. Everything's not perfect. You know, they have their faults. They all they all tend to have problems and things occur because of it, you know. And I love that they have not made it all just peachy keen perfect and everybody's always happy with everybody. But it's also when they have disagreements, even when it's a cataclysmic, going to change the entire world situation, it's not something that it's something they can overcome together and come back together, and they're all resolved and family and loving at the end. And so I really appreciate all those. So those are my 6 recommendations for the sibling prompt from Middle Grade March. If you have other books, there are so many, that you really love, go ahead and drop them below. And I will say that every single one of these, I have read physical copies with my eyeballs, and I've also had audiobooks, and they all have phenomenal audiobook options. So check those out on Libby, is where I usually listen. Libraries are starting to get rid of audiobooks on CD, but Libby and Hoopla are great free options also. Thanks. Have a great day.